Hello everyone. It's been a long time since I've done a video like this. To be honest with you, I haven't really been paying much attention to this YouTube channel, probably because there's been so much other stuff going on at the moment. But I wanted to make this little video to show all the five gongs that I've collected over the past sort of 2 years or so. I've gone pretty crazy buying them for sort of no reason, and I think I've sort of set myself the goal now to try and get one from every single different company. And I think I'm getting there, which is always a nice feeling. So I'll basically just do a little showcase of all of them to get today as they stand, and yeah, mostly because I also can't be bothered to make a video on them all. So yeah. So the first one is this very large Winterhalder, and it is a 2-train 3/4 sort of like 5 gong that still has the general 5 gong layout, as you can see, which is always very lovely. But it strikes, or it does the chimes on the quarters, and then just a hour strike on the hour. So if I open it via this lovely button on the side, it's got a very nice actually domed dial, and obviously you've got your chime and the silence switch there, and it's in this very light, very strange case. I'm not sure what kind of wood that is, but it's stained very lightly, and it's very similar to a smaller one that Tommy Wiley had actually, although I think his was just a sort of ting tang thing. But yes, this one is very deep sounding. I'll take it to 12 and you can see how it does. Oh, that's a fail. Give me 1 second. Okay, after that that brief fail, I've had to take it back around to 11 because for some reason it doesn't want to do anything at 12. But there we go. It's a very deep sounding but very Winterhalder like gong that it's very nice actually. I haven't managed to service this one just yet, so it is a little bit slow, which is alright. But I'll take you around back to the movement and we can see it do its quarter chimes. So here we are at the back of the Winterhalder clock. It's got 5 gongs, as you can see, so 4 for the quarters and then 1 for the hour. They're very high quality movements, these Winterhalders. They're sort of, as you probably see here, look how thick those plates are. And to be fair, this one is quite clean, which is always a lovely sign. But as I say, I haven't managed to service it yet, so I cannot comment on anything on anything else about the operation, because to be fair, this one does need some work, especially on the chiming strike, what do you call it, train. But yeah, it has, as I say, 4 hammers for the quarters. Sometimes get stuck. And yeah, let's just see if we can get it to do its thing. It usually doesn't like doing anything on the quarter past, but we'll have a look and see. Actually, there it drops down. I think that's meant to slightly just slowly lower it down, but I don't know why it suddenly drops, which is very annoying. This barrel is not aligned very well at all. And then for some reason it's just decided it doesn't want to do anything on the hour. There we go. Yeah, and then it just stops for some reason, which is great. 46 seconds, something gonna happen, but yeah, I think these are all misaligned with each other on this barrel, and as you can see there is a lot of flexibility on that barrel, which is not particularly ideal. But it's a lovely clock. It was a pain to get to my house. I got it from an auction house in Scotland for I think like £10 or something like that, but all the shipping companies wanted to charge me like £150 to ship this thing to my house, and I had to get someone to drive from somewhere in Scotland to pick this up and ship it to me, which was a big pain. So whether it was worth it, I'm not sure, but it's a lovely clock. Very glad to have it, and it sounds, it's probably one of the nicest ones actually. Very Winterhalder like, which is always great. So next on the list is the newest 5 gong to the collection. I got this one about, what, 4 days ago or so, from an antique fair near me, and it's what I believe is a JJ Elliot 5 gong. I thought it was Gillett & Johnson at first because the case, and I think actually the case is Gillett & Johnson, but the movement is an Elliot apparently. It's very small in comparison to the Winterhalder and sort of many of the others. It's not the smallest, but it's definitely up there. And unusually, it is a free train as well, for us this small of a size. But which means obviously it does the full Westminster on the hour, and it's very resonant. It sounds very, very nice actually. It's a very nice clock. So I will demonstrate it to you now if it will let me. A very lovely clock. As I said, it's very, very resonant. It's very loud actually for such a small clock. I at first didn't think that this was the original dial. I think it is now because the pinholes line with each sort of already made hole inside here, and it fits quite perfectly. But when I saw it, it looked like a generic. I thought it was just a rod chimer, maybe very small sort of thing. But turned it around, and I was very surprised to see a 5 gong movement in it. And speaking of turning it around, I will do so now so that we can see it do its thing from the inside. So here we are with the Elliot's movement. It's a little bit rusty. I think it's been in storage for ages and ages. The person I bought it from seemingly did some sort of house clearance service. So it is a bit rusty, so I might put a little bit of light wire wool just around the gongs, and then clean the hammers up when I service it. But it does run. It doesn't do very well, if I'm being completely honest. It sort of goes for a few. I mean, sometimes it will go for a few days. It went for a few days, and then sometimes you can't get it going for a few minutes, sort of thing. So it's a bit temperamental. It definitely needs a service. It's quite dirty. But these are definitely smaller gongs than many of the others. They are, as you can tell, they're quite small, but they have very hefty hammers in them. I mean, look at that power hammer there. But yeah, an interesting thing as well is that this is in a different order, I think, to this one. So this one, the highest note is at the back, but the highest note here is at the front. So we've got the alto, of course. But very, very resonant. And you can tell the case is very good in Johnston mic. There's a very similar video on YouTube with one of these having a Gillen Johnston movement in it. It's just that what I'm doing this thing. But yeah, what we'll do is we will demonstrate it doing its thing. That hammer does lift quite early. There's no really sort of proper pause between the chime and the strike, so it's quite interesting. It's a lovely clock, very sweet thing. But it definitely needs a service, and I'm probably not going to run it that much until I do, as but not anything any more wear to happen to this. It's obviously not been used in quite a long time. But yeah, there's that one. Right, so the next one that we have to show is one that I've actually done a video on. It's a clock made by Peerless, who were, I believe, previously Lenskirk. It's a very tiny clock. I mean, even next to the Elliot. I mean, look at that. I don't really know, and you can pick that up as a carriage clock if you wanted to, but it is so small. I remember when I bought it from an auction, I think I paid quite a lot of money for this one actually. I think I paid like £80 for it. I didn't realise it was going to be so small, but it is absolutely tiny. I think it's missing some sort of finial thing, I don't know what they're called here, some collars or something there. But it's overall fairly good condition. But sadly, this one is really in need of a service. It does not want to go for maybe more than 10 seconds. And the chimes are very slow. It does do its thing, but this is not the greatest. And it doesn't sound the greatest at the moment as well, but I'll take you through them. I feel like that sounds actually worse than it should do. Let me just make sure that's... As you can tell, definitely easy service. It's very slow. And yeah, it's just not been cleaned for a very long time, so I generally don't have this doing anything at all. I mean, I can't really, but we'll show you the back. It's fairly sort of it's quite nice actually. So as you can see, very dusty. I mean, there's been many times where I've tried to clean this dust off, but they just, I don't know, just doesn't seem to want to do it. But it's a very interesting movement. It's a full free train movement. The size, I mean, it's maybe smaller than a French striking clock movement. I'm not entirely sure how Peerless have managed to fit so much into this tiny space here. I'm sort of quite terrified to go and service it, to be honest with you, because it is just so small. The pendulum, it didn't come with a pendulum. I had a very small French pendulum that I sort of put on here, but that's being used in my other Peerless with the same movement that chimes on rots, which is arguably rarer than the than this one. But yeah, so it's sort of chimes on 4 gongs and then 1 for the hour. They're very tiny. I mean, see there, but and they go from the lowest to the highest. So, oh gosh. Oh yes, of course, yeah. So this barrel slightly misaligned, so that sort of raises up. If we just do that, okay. There you go. That was a very sort of janky way of doing it, but that's okay. But yeah, no, it's a lovely clock. I do want to service it eventually when I get a chance to, but I really need to study this movement a little bit more. I haven't taken it out of the case yet, so I'm a little bit concerned about what I'm going to find. There's no really real way. You have to take off the whole front first and take off that way, because there's no other real way to get this movement out. There's also just no space in this case for these gongs. You probably heard it sounded absolutely terrible when I first demonstrated it to you, and that's because when you close this bangs against this last note here, which is something that I need to sort out, because if I move this gong block, so obviously someone's drilled a new hole for the gong block here. It was obviously there before, but if you put it there, then your pendulum won't work. So that's definitely something to take a look at. But what I'll do is I'll bring it, I'll give you a demonstration. So there you go. Lovely clock. Very dusty. Try not to demonstrate it too much because otherwise you'll just get excessive wear everywhere. But it's definitely one on the list to service amongst about 30 others. Maybe more. But it's a lovely clock, and I'm very glad to have it. It's very rare to see one with such a small movement, to be honest with you. But yeah, there we go. Right, so our next clock is very unusual one, actually. It doesn't look unusual. It looks quite plain, really, from the front. But this clock is by a company called, gosh, I'm going to really butcher this pronunciation, Haas and Son, or Haas and Son, I don't know. But I didn't know they made 3-train clocks. I thought that they just made 2 trains. But I've had 2 clocks by them now. This one, and then I had one that just chimed on 1 rod, which was very interesting. Sadly, I sold that one. I think I uploaded a video here somewhere of that. But I didn't have that one for very long at all. But when I discovered that they made these 5-gong clocks sort of about maybe a year ago when I saw one on eBay of all places, and I did not win the auction for that one. I regretted it so much. And then maybe about 3 months later, this one, which arguably I like this one much better than the one I saw, popped up on an auction near me, and I won it for £2 or something like that. It was like in a lot of 5 for £10 or something like that. So £2 for this clock right here, which isn't bad at all. It's probably the most damaged one. The case is probably the most damaged of all of these here. It is not in the greatest condition. You can see this whole top part and the side part is completely missing, and also when you lift this up, you can see that it's completely split. And you'll see there's some splits there as well. But it's a lovely clock. The door is also broken, as you can see here. But it has one of the most unusual tones of a 5-gong I've ever seen. It works quite well, actually, surprisingly. And I'll just let you hear, actually. I'm not sure if I've heard one with this tuning. It's quite interesting. Such a lovely hour gong. I think that's probably one of my favourite hour gongs in these 5-gong clocks that I've seen. It sounds so much better when it's on the shelf and it's resonating through the wood. But it is so loud when you have it sitting on a shelf, and it's I think the neighbours have complained about it as well because it is so loud. It probably doesn't sound that loud in the video. I have to watch it back, but it is, I promise you. I'll show you the movement, which is also very interesting. So it's got it's a very rustic case. I feel like this is the type of thing that would be in a sort of cottage house. And here is the movement of the Philip House clock. It's got a weird, very large movement in it. Here you can see the what is that, a hare or what is it? Leaping? Is it the leaping rabbit there? It's a hare or something like that, but it's definitely Philip House. And it's got this massive hour gong, which fills up nearly the whole case. And it's got these really weird, I don't know what these hammers are, what it's called when these hammers are. That's really dusty there, isn't it? and they like overlap on top of each other, which is really strange. It's so weird. I love it. And then we've got this, I presume, night silencing system, but yeah, I think so. I think this is meant to hook onto there. There we go. Yeah, I've never actually used it before, so I'm not entirely sure how well that works. But it's very strange clock. No. As I was saying, it's a very strange clock. I love this giant hour gong that's sort of just here, very large for no reason. That sounds absolutely spectacular. But it's just got such an unusual tone, and it's actually the first one of this group that has the hour gong at the back, oh, not the back, sorry, at the front instead of right at the back. But I will take you through the quarters. There you go. The hammer lifts unusually high. I mean, it's about sort of there or something like that. I didn't put that on there. Actually, you're probably wondering what that is. I don't even know. It's not like someone's... I think someone's put like a bit of fluff on there maybe to make it sound nicer. But yeah, no, I haven't... Honestly, I'm guilty because I haven't touched any of these ones over here. I haven't serviced them or done anything with them yet. They're all on the list, but this one seems fairly clean. Actually, it might need a service. I'm looking at the results a bit more clearly. It does work very well, but obviously with any old clock, it's best to have it serviced. It's got it's like two regulating nuts on the bottom, which is very strange. It's got the very sort of generic pendulum there, but it's a lovely clock. And what's also really interesting is that you've got sort of the chime spring is all band-aided in a little bit. That's that one over there. But yeah, no, it's sort of strapped in. It's it's very, very odd. But it's probably to make it easier to make it easier to replace, which is always quite nice when manufacturers do that for you. Although then I do wonder, what about the others? What if this one breaks? But it's a lovely clock. It is a really lovely clock, and a bargain really. So yeah, well, we'll go on to the next one. Right, so the next clock on the list is another 3/4 Winterhalder clock, very similar to the one that we saw at the start, that massive one at the end, but abnormally small really. It's very similar size to the Elliot actually, but I have never seen a Winterhalder this tiny before, let alone a 5-gong Winterhalder. It's such a simple case as well. It's so smooth and so simple. There's no decorative features really at all except for your raised base here. It was retailed in London, obviously made in Germany, and it is just so cute and just so simplistic. I love it so much. This one has a very lovely sound actually. It's more powerful, surprisingly, than the bigger one. But the problem is I think Winterhalder's put a 4/4 chime barrel on this, so it's always a bit of a lottery if you get the right quarters or not. It seems to get quite muddled up with itself, but we'll have a see. It sounds very, very nice. It's very, very clean, this clock. This was another one from an auction. A lot of these are just from live auctions. And I have travelled all the way up to Birmingham, of all places, to pick this one up, which was a huge pain, really. But I'll show you the back, because it is, I mean, it's very similar to the first one, but it's a very nice movement. So the back door is very similar to the Elliot's, but if we open up here, you can see a very Winterhalder looking movement with the back fly fan. It is, I think, nearly identical to the one that I showed at the start. I'm thinking it might even be identical, to be honest with you. It's got that same two sort of brackets there as well. It's a really lovely clock. I'm not entirely sure. The chime barrel is definitely different to the one at the start. I'm not entirely sure why they've put a 4/4 in there, but maybe that's an error. Who knows? Another thing that's quite interesting is that you might notice that this hammer right here is different sized, and that's because that is supposed to be on the hour. But obviously someone's thought that the hour sounded a bit too loud, and they put the smaller one on the hour. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it can't have been that much louder because it doesn't sound. Anyways, it doesn't sound that much louder with the big hammer. So I'm not entirely sure why someone's done that, but I haven't really got around to clean that back because it just sounds perfectly fine with the smaller one. But it's a very, very clean mechanism, as you can probably see. I think I'm guilty on all of these that I haven't serviced them at all. But as you can see, this one has not been serviced by the lovely old oil everywhere. I honestly don't run this one that much, and that is because it's not because of the old oil. So essentially, the pendulum here is supposed to obviously have your regulating nut here. But if I put that on, that catches against the hour gong, because the hour gong is just abnormally large for some reason. And I cannot move this out of the way because then it will catch on the door. So I've kept it off, but the reason I don't run it that much is because then sometimes that pendulum drops down and it stops it. So I'm not entirely sure what to do with that. I'm not entirely sure how they even had this clock working if this was always the case. Might have been another manufacturer error, who knows. But yeah, it's a very cute clock, very, very small. I think I paid like £30 or £50 or something like that for this one. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it was a very good deal and I could not resist buying it, which is always very lovely. So yeah, really, really lovely clock. Very, very cute, very small. And it's also got its lovely original green felt as well, which is absolutely spectacular. I mean, I don't even know if it might not even be original, but it is so nice. But yeah, really, really lovely clock. So we're moving on to the two very, very large 5 gongs now. And this one right here is probably my favourite one out of all the ones that I've sort of acquired. It was my first 5 gong as well, which is amazing. And it is just spectacular. I mean, the case is just full of amazing, really, carvings. And it is just so lovely looking. It's in amazing condition as well. I think, so my dad bought it for me for Christmas in 2024, I think. And it came from someone who had obviously collected clocks for many, many years. It is so Hershey looking. I'm sorry to all the people from America watching, but it just looks, I don't know, it just if you have a look at that dial, I mean, I think you'll see what my reasoning is behind saying that. It was made by a company called R&Co, or Richard and C. They made a lot of retail, I think, a lot of French stuff, and they also had a shop in London, I think. So I assume this was made by some sort of company, English company. It is also in the exact same tuning of that clock in Westminster, the very, very famous clock town Westminster that everyone knows of. And it is notoriously out of sync. I think I've got it to be in sync for this video, but don't blame me if we hear an extra note or so, because it is very, very out of sync. So we'll have a little look. So surprisingly, it wasn't in sync. Forget about that part. But it is such a lovely clock, and that hour gong is just amazing. And another interesting thing about this clock is the top is, let me put my phone down. The top is completely removable. So I'll just remove the top for you. There it is. So you can see it's lovely insides. And I don't know if I've got it going. I haven't got it going, have I? It does very, very well. It does not keep very good time. I think I need to regulate it a little bit more, but it does work very well. You see there the gongs, which I'll show you more depth in a second, but they are absolutely gigantic. And honestly, this is such an amazing movement. It is so thick, the plates. It's got a very Winterhalder feel to it, but I'm not sure if it is a Winterhalder, to be honest with you. But we will have a look at the back, and you can see it looks very plain like this, so I'm glad that it does have this absolutely amazing top to add to it, to be honest with you. So, opening the door, we can see the lovely movement of this clock. It's got a huge pendulum, really. Very, very good quality. It does have that Winterhalder look, doesn't it? But I'm not sure it is, to be honest with you. The hammers don't look Winterhalder. And the gong block, it definitely is not Winterhalder. So, yeah. It's got definitely some of the biggest gongs that I've seen. I don't know if this is the biggest set of gongs that I've got. But they're really thick as well, so that's probably why you get that very tinny sound out of them. Obviously, it's also up to the hammers, really, having very hard hammer heads. But, so yeah, it's got these lovely small hammer heads with the quarters. And then it's got this massive hammer at the back for the hours, which isn't resonating as well as I would hope it to. I think it might be the hammer's just a bit not really stuff enough for it. But I think it might be resting on there. But it is absolutely spectacular. It is such a nice clock. And I absolutely love this one. I would probably never get rid of this one because it is so nice. And my dad bought it, so I cannot. I'm very, very grateful for it, to be honest with you. It was such a surprise. But yeah, it's such a lovely clock, to be honest with you. But I'll take you through the quarters. See it do its thing. I mean, it's just wonderful. It's such a lovely clock. It's amazing case as well. It's not as pretty as the back, obviously, but it is so well made. Very heavy too. It was a lot of struggle actually to even get all of these onto the floor, but especially these two, so you can imagine, were a lot of struggle to take out. But yeah, just such a lovely clock, to be honest with you. Yeah, right, onto the last one. Last but not least, we have the biggest clock in the 5 gong collection. This clock is an LFS, which I thought it was a lens Kirk when I first got it, but it's not. It is an LFS. I'm not going to try and pronounce the full name, because I will probably get destroyed by some sort of clock fanatics. Like, you're pronouncing it wrong. But it's an absolutely ginormous clock. I mean, it is huge. When I got this, I did not realize it was going to be so big, to be honest with you. And I was going to sell it, and I kind of did sell it to someone who said that they would pick it up and, you know, would do the transaction, and they never did. And by that point, I sort of fell in love with it. So it's now here now, which is good, because I have not seen enough one of these pop up, to be honest with you. They are so rare, the LFS ones. So it's very good that I still have it. But it is, as I say, a ginormous clock. It's got a very lens Kirk looking dial, to be honest with you. So that's probably why I thought it was lens Kirk at first. And it surprisingly has very small quarter gongs, but an absolutely ginormous hour gong, which I will show you after I demonstrate it for you. I mean, the hour gong on that, it is absolutely mad, to be honest with you. It is so strong. It's probably because the leather on the hammer is hardened, and it just lifts up the hammer so high and it just smacks it down. It is an amazing clock, to be honest with you. I struggled to find space for it, as you can imagine, but I did eventually. It's in fairly good cosmetic condition. It's been banged around a little bit by the previous people, and it's missing its side bit there. Well, just want them to do this thing. But it is a very, very nice clock. I'll show you the back of it. So it's got this massive door at the back, and there we have it. Honestly, fairly standard size movement, maybe slightly bigger than the others. You see, it's working pretty well. A very, very large pendulum. And as you can see, it's got this absolutely massive as well outer gong. There, that strikes on this. To be honest with you, I'm very surprised that that tiny hammer right there makes all that noise. Because it is such a, such a tiny hammer for such a loud sound. But it does. There's been a lot of issues with these quarter hammers here, especially, I'm trying to think which one it is. I think it's this one here that really plays up, because someone has decided to solder it on, and obviously that always comes out and isn't very accurate at all, so that sort of stays like that. But other than that, it is an absolutely spectacular clock. It sounds amazing, to be honest with you. They're very heavy hammers actually, so. And it's a very interesting tone as well. But what I'll do is, let me demonstrate the quarters and the hour for you. You can see them, well, motion really. Just like I find where I'm actually. So yeah, it is a very, very powerful clock. As you can see, that literally just threw that hammer down. There's a very strong spring there, as you can see. That pushes that hammer down. I've often thought of what if I put a bigger hammer on there and how loud it sounds. I've always wanted to do that, to be honest with you, but I've never gotten around to that. But it is just wonderful. We've got, that was, well, I think that's an old suspension spring. There's this one's on there now, which is actually just temporary because it does not work very well. And it's also a bit too short, so I need to put a new one on. There you go. I thought it was a lens curtain, so I saw that right there, which is very interesting. But yeah, absolutely lovely clock, to be honest with you. So I hope you enjoy the review of all these lovely 5-gong clocks. I was going to make individual videos for them all, but I just have not got the time at the moment. I take care of so many clock towers now, and I do all this sort of stuff. So I thought I may as well just make a big video whilst I had the time, just to show you all them. The clock collection video will come out. It will come out. I just need to do some more filming because I keep getting new clocks, and then I feel bad about not including them, sort of thing. So just need to wait a little bit, and hopefully we'll get something out soon. But thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, as I mean, I don't really know what the reason is for subscribing, but if you wanted to see more videos like this, then, you know, subscribe. And yeah, and I'll probably see you in the next video. See you later. Oh gosh, so many clocks going off.